Today's date is September 14th, 2024, and the New England Patriots have started the season off 1-0.
16-10. Take them to the hill. Take them to the hill. I think the Super Bowl is back on. I think it's back. We're so back.
Super Bowl's back on. The team came out. They played phenomenal in week one versus the Bengals. I feel like they came out, they must have had a game plan and they executed it to a T for Coach Mayo in his coaching debut. First rookie Patriot head coach to get their win in week one since some dude back in the 50s.
Yeah. And honestly, I think the guys they're pretty bought in on Mayo's, I guess, his aura, his coaching ability. I don't know. It just seems like he demands like greatness out of these guys, and what a better way to start off the year.
And they loved it. And like you said in the beginning, take them to the hill.
New merch. Go buy merch.
New merch in the shop. Take them to the hill. The rally cry they had at the end of the game. Players knew the Bengals were tired, and you just heard Mondre go, "Hey, take them to the hill.
Take them to the hill."
Referencing the hills outside Gillette that they do conditioning after practice.
Not before, after. Ramondre, the offensive line, and that team looked like a Belichick team from, 15, 16 years ago, where it's all three phases. Shout out Joe Cardona, long snapper, with a fumble on the punt return. It was just all three phases.
Yeah, no, it was really great to see, especially the team they dominated the run game. You love when you see a team just dominate the run game. Ramondre Stevenson, the guy can't be tackled. On the first time you touch him, you're not bringing him down. He had like 118 out of 125 yards, 118 of them were after contact, which is insane.
And I felt like watching that most plays, there's already a guy in the backfield when the ball is snapped. Like the line, don't get me wrong, they played much better than expected during the run game. Pass blocking we can get to, but there's always a guy there, shoves him off, and he gets 6, 8, 10 yards of carry. It was awesome to watch as a football fan.
And I wanna apologize to the fans of this podcast because we were wrong.
We were wrong.
We were wrong. We doubted the boys week one. We doubted them week one.
Yeah, but 99% of the football fans, anybody that watches football, you don't know a single guy. There's two guys on the offensive line that you might know. And they just went out there. They punched the Bengals in the mouth. That defensive line was wreaking havoc all day. Shout out Keon White, football guy of the week. There's just unbelievable. Shout out Bill Belichick for taking him in the second round.
Yeah, shout out Bill for drafting our entire defense because those guys, they went out and they played hard. Let's talk about Jacoby Brissett in the offensive side of the ball, though. This was like the biggest question mark we had. We knew the defense was going to be solid. Pretty much the whole defense was returning from last year. But the offensive side of the ball, huge question marks. New OC, AVP. Jacoby Brissett gets the nod for the start week one. We have a young receiving core, a beat-up O-line. Not even beat-up, just a badly assembled O-line. Now, emerging star running back. How do you think they came out and executed, offensively as a whole?
I think they executed just as good as you're going to get. Shout out AVP, Alex Van Pelt, the new OC calling plays. They were just running wide zone. The first half, second half, I saw a couple tweets where Ramondre said, "Hey, let's just slam the ball down their throat." They changed up halfway through the second half, third quarter, started running power right down the middle. And you could see just that team, just that Bengals defensive line was just beat up. And shout out Jacoby Brissett. He was just unbelievable, dodging tacklers and just making the right play.
Yeah, he was as unbelievable as he could for a 16-10 win. He didn't really play good. He just didn't play horrible. He stood in there. He took hits. He delivered balls. He played a mistake-free game. There were a couple throws he probably wish he could have back. But no turnovers from the offense, which is just great to see. We caused a couple turnovers on special teams and defense. And that's how you win football games. That's a winning recipe in the NFL. creating turnovers and not giving the ball away to the other team, you're going to win football games if you keep that up. It's going to be hard to
And
keep
what
up, but you'll win football games.
and what really excites me is I feel like we're just gonna go up from here, right? I mean, we're bound for a turnover to a game because that was just exceptional. Turnover free football. But I saw a couple tweets, watched a couple videos. Jalen Polk he got open like I forget the stat, but out of the top 10 receivers in the NFL, his percentage, he was open most of the day. That's where I would like to see the offense improve, is really taking a couple deep shots. Just let your guys try and make a play. That we draft them in the second round for a reason, and that's really where I feel like there's got to be some improvement there, because you're not going to ground and pound. You're not going to be in control of the football all day long.
Yeah, and another thing that we have to look at is how are we going to get these receivers kind of like involved? And Jalen Polk had one catch, 60 yards.
Yep.
Kind of spread the ball around a lot, though. No one was really kind of targeted more than anyone else. But I really
No.
want to get the receivers involved. Those guys are the ones that are going to make big breakout plays. And I think it comes down to the O line, being able to let Brissett hang in the pocket and push the ball down the field for big plays.
Yeah, and that's the way they want to play. And I don't get me wrong, that was great. The defense was in control all day long. They ran the football exceptionally. But I want to see like Pop Douglas. I want to see him more involved. He's a playmaker on offense out of the slot. He was open a couple times, running drags and man coverage.
Running
Like to see him
backwards,
get
which
the
is
ball.
something he needs to work on.
Yeah, he needs to run north and south. I mean, stop. He's just dancing when he gets the ball. Left, right. Just go straight, man. You're explosive.
Yeah, all in all, though, I would say not too much to nitpick in week one. I mean, when you come out of anywhere with a victory, especially being an underdog, you have to be happy about it. Obviously, like there's little things they need to improve on, but starting the season off 1-0, man, we'll take that. Undefeated.
And then shout out to Verdarian Lowe. Dick, don't get me wrong, he needs to improve in pass protection, but he played pretty well when he replaced Okafor. I mean, Okafor, he should be just
Oh,
cut.
what a disaster.
Oh my
What a
gosh.
disaster that guy
I
is.
saw like his PFF football rating was 0. I mean, just abysmal. You had to replace him. Lowe came in there, a couple pressures, but all in all, I thought he played pretty well.
Yeah, so it'll be cool to look forward. Going off of player positive things, we're going to move into who are we buying and who are we selling on the New England Patriots after this week one victory going into the future.
I'm going to, first off, Keon White. I mean, that guy lined up all across the line of scrimmage, wreaking havoc all day long. He's finally starting to, I think it just slowed down for him. Football, it just slowed down for him. Year 1 to year 2, that's when guys make the biggest jump. And he was exceptional around Burrow all day long and just harassing him. I'm excited to see how they deploy him this week against Seattle.
Yeah, and Bill Belichick and his show with CW, he gave Keon White the nod for Football Guy of the Week. I mean, he was salivating over talking about Keon White. To see a legend like that so high on a young player, I think that's a lot of hope there in New England to see Keon White. He could have a real breakout year. Let's hope he stays healthy. Who
Yeah,
are we?
and you needed to replace Judon, right? You're like, okay, well, Keon White's got to be that guy, and he's so powerful at the point of attack, and it's a lot of fun to watch.
He was that guy week one. I'm buying our special teams unit. Last year and previous years before that, special teams, and in the Brady era is what I'll call it, the Brady era, our special teams was so on point. We were always on point. And I felt like the last couple of years, especially last year, I mean, it was sloppy, lazy. I feel like, they just weren't a cohesive unit. Special teams,
Cam
this
anchored. That's
past,
why. You want to know why it's Cam anchored. We fired
yeah.
that guy.
Yeah. And then this year they came out, and the thing special teams is good when they're not making bad plays. It's when they're just doing their job. And above that, we got the turnover with Cardona. And then after that, though, I mean, field goals were made. No returns were made on us on our punt team. We punted the ball great. There were just no errors in special teams, which I just love to see that. You don't want
And,
special teams to fuck your day up.
no, you don't.
You'll just get so mad about that.
A couple things too. Joey Sly. Joey Sly is that guy, dude. He was just kicking. kicking footballs left and right down the middle. He was awesome. It's such an improvement from Chad Ryland. I mean, thank God we cut that guy. Also, Brendan Schooler making tackles all over the field,
Oh, he
screaming down
was.
the field, lighting the punt returner up.
Yeah.
It got me fired up. Fired
Yeah, it's
up.
great to have a player that cares that much about special teams because you know he's
Yeah.
going to go 100% every play. He knows that's why he's there. That's why he's getting paid to make those plays, and he made them. All right, who are we selling after this week 1 performance?
Oh, who are we selling? You start.
I'm selling the tackles. I don't feel confident in this position. I don't feel confident with the depth we have in our roster right now. So that's a position where I feel like we need to improve the most in order to kind of stay playing with the good teams.
I'm gonna sell the performance of the secondary. Gonzo, don't get me wrong, I think he's an elite cornerback, but this is gonna be a big test this week against the Seahawks. The Bengals didn't really have it too. I could see John Jones was excellent too, made a great tackle on fourth down, but outside of that, like
Isla
you have Duggar, you have Peppers, but they need Marcus Jones is out there quite a bit, but they had what's his name out there, Marco Wilson. He got torched on a holding penalty. Like they need another guy to step up in that secondary as a man-to-man corner.
I would have to tend to disagree with you. I think our secondary is going to be fine. I think they rely heavily on the game plan that they have set, so they're going to have to switch up a lot between zone and man. They can't be too much on one. But I was thoroughly pleased with the way they played this past week. They caused turnovers. Let's just see if they can get some interceptions. Geno
Yeah,
Smith, kind of a
I,
turnover
I,
magnet.
yeah, but outside of Chase, you had nobody to worry about. Like that, you had nobody to worry about. You had to hone in on Chase. Gonzo did that. I think Chase went 6 for 64, but when Gonzo it's 1 for 3. But outside of that, like you don't really have a cover corner. John Jones is great, Roman slot corner, whatever. You need somebody else though.
Yeah, they could always improve there. All right, that
Um,
wraps up week 1 recap. So let's go into our week 2 preview. Patriots versus Seahawks. Both teams coming in 1-0. In New England, keeper of the lighthouse for the game is going to be Malcolm Butler, throwing it back, striking some fear in the opponent's eyes. That's a great move there. Remembering, just showing them like, hey, we never forgot Malcolm Butler stole so much hope and happiness away from you in 2014. Keeper of the
Russell Wilson.
lighthouse.
That's a top 3 football moment for me personally. But yeah, again, I'm gonna Malcolm Butler. He was a corner. I'm gonna highlight the cornerback versus the Seahawks receiver room. Again, DK on Gonzo. There's a size mismatch there. I'm excited to see if Gonzo can lock up DK. But then again, we're gonna need somebody else to step up. You get JSN, you got Fant, you got Smith Jigba. Somebody's gonna need to step up there.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see this secondary perform. I think Gonzo's going to be a great matchup on DK. I think Gonzo he's gonna play his kind of silent assassinness
Yep.
perfectly to DK Metcalf, who runs loud routes, and I think we're gonna see some action there. I'm most excited to see how the Patriots kind of respond after a win, starting 1-0, a game they shouldn't have won. This game, a little bit more 50-50, two rookie head coaches, two defensive minded head coaches. This could be a recipe for a low scoring game, kind of with mediocre quarterback play and two good defenses that can be out there. The Seahawks, though, their pass rush, I mean, week 1, granted they were going against the Broncos, they had one of the highest pressure rates in the NFL.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see how our offensive line handles that.
And I'm excited to see the offensive game plan. The Seahawks blitz Bo Nix a lot, rightfully so. He's a rookie quarterback. If they blitz a lot, we Pop Douglas has to have a day running those drag routes, those slant routes, those wheel routes. You're going to need him. I think he's going to have to get between 5 to 8 touches a day in order for us to win.
Yeah, and I think another big key for us is being able to control the ground game again. We got to slow the game down for our defense. Ramondre Stevenson, if he plays the way he did week 1, I think we're going to be fine because, having a running attack like that where he was just able to really control the game anytime he wanted. He was picking up first downs on his legs, closed the game out with a big run on third down. And so I'm excited to see if Ramondre Stevenson's going to respond with another great performance in week 2.
Yeah. And I don't know about the Bengals defensive line. Don't think they were that talented, missing a couple guys due to injury. Seahawks step up, definitely step up. McDonald comes from the Ravens defensive tree, which is always relatively good. So again, the interior offensive line, I think is they're gonna be the X factor there. They need to give Ramondre some holes. One hole, make a guy miss, daylight. So we'll see.
Daylight Gerard Mayo, first home game. This will be exciting.
He's gonna be fired up. I think the crowd is gonna respond really well to him being out there, first home game.
Yeah, Gerard. All right, so let's head this in to the locks.
The locks. We both went 1-2 last week. Wasn't great. It was only week 1. We're here to improve. My first lock of the day: Jets minus 3.5 at the Titans. I thought Rodgers played really well for a guy coming off an Achilles at 40 years old. Their defense played horrendous against the Niners, but again, I also think Shanahan knows Saleh well. He was. I don't think that Saleh is going to throw the kitchen sink at the Niners. It's week 1. It's too early to do that. I think the Jets are going to come out here and make a statement. Second lock of the week. So week first, Jets minus 3.5 at the Titans. My second, Chargers minus 5 at home versus just the worst franchise in football in the Carolina Panthers. Bryce Young is an absolute disaster. He's broken. I think it's early in the year, but he was horrible last year. Horrible again in week 1. Chargers. I think Jim Harbaugh is just a winner. I saw some crazy statistic where
that was great.
That was insane. I saw a statistic where they were 32nd versus the run last year. They were first last week. Harbaugh's just a winner. Give me the Chargers minus 5 at home versus the Panthers.
Lock.
My last lock of the week. The Bake Show. Plus 7.5 at the Lions. Baker was unbelievable last week. Feeding Evans. Mike Evans is just he's a menace. He doesn't slow down. Godwin looks like he's back to his old self. Lions are. I think they're going to be in the NFC Championship game, but 7.5 is just way too many points. Give me the Bucks plus 7.5.
Yeah, I think that last pick there is candidate to be a pick for clown pick of the week. My record for the locks also was 1-2. I was crowned clown pick of the week last week. We're trying to take Jets money line Monday Night Football.
Yeah, brutal pick.
But every week is a new week, and it's a new time to be perfect. My locks for week 2, I have Cowboys minus 6 versus the Saints. Oh, Saints, 47 points against the Panthers. Oh, this. Guess what? We're still living in Jerry's world. Dak, new contract. They're going to be at home. I think they're going to put an onslaughtering on this Saints team, kind of shut up that whole division of NFC South. So I have Cowboys minus 6.5. Giants Commanders. Jalen Daniels, he's a runner. Daniel Jones, he's a runner. I think this is going to be another stinking, snoozing game. I'm taking the under
at
43.
They both stink.
I'm taking the under there for that game. I don't see any hope, and I hate choosing unders, but sometimes they're just handed to you on a silver platter, and you have to take the under for this game. Daniel Jones is going to cause turnovers, and Jalen Daniels, he just resorts to running the ball way too much. He's going to end up getting injured. Hopefully he doesn't, knock on wood, but he's just running too much because he gets frantic in the pocket, and instead of throwing the ball away, try to set up another play, he'll take off, which is good and bad. But that's another lock that I have. And then the last lock, the GOAT of this generation, the team I have for my Super Bowl favorites, going for a three-peat, the Kansas City Chiefs in Arrowhead, minus 6.5 against the Bengals. And yes, the Bengals' Week 1 performance is definitely going into this decision because I see no world where that offense, I don't care who's on the field for them, I see no world where that offense puts anywhere up close to 2 scores against this Chiefs team. And the Chiefs offense, they're going to do what they do. They're going to get over 21 points. So I have Chiefs minus 6. That's my lock of the week. 3 locks. Let's hope for 3-0 from both of us.
Yep.
But those are the picks.
I want to stay on the topic of the Bengals very quickly. Seen a lot of videos of Jamar Chase the last couple weeks. He's the most self-centered receiver I've ever seen. You have 2 years left on you. You have 2 years left on your rookie extension, and you're sitting out. You're being a terrible teammate. His college teammate Justin Jefferson handled business correctly. He didn't let it bleed into the locker room. He handled his business. 2 years though remaining on your rookie extension is just absurd to me, and I think there's something going on in that Bengals locker room where I think he's just rubbing people the wrong way.
Yeah, I agree. That's kind of a crazy take. Jamar Chase might be signing in your DMs, calling you some names after that. But you gotta let players handle business how they want it. It's kind of like Hassan Reddick, which we could touch on too. You think that guy's ever seen the field?
Not in a Jets uniform. I don't.
Yeah.
Also, this is just bad business by the classic business by the New York Football Jets. Okay, why would you trade for an edge rusher who's holding out, wants a new extension, and you don't give him a pre-negotiated extension as you trade for him? Say, hey, we'll trade you, we'll pay you X, Y, and Z. Like I don't understand why you give up a third. Nobody's gonna give up a fourth or fifth for this guy. I don't understand it by the Jets.
All right, week 2 game slates. We're gonna go through a quick pick'em of all the games. First 1:00 game, we have Vegas Raiders at the Baltimore Ravens. Ravens are obviously favored -425. Who do we have in that game, John?
Give me the Ravens. I just don't think the Raiders. They're just not very good this year. I just don't think they're a good football
Antonio
team.
Pierce, but I also have the Ravens that game. Next, we have Browns, Jaguars, Deshaun Watson, Trevor Lawrence, the Clemson grads, and a
The
duel.
worst quarterbacking, worse than Mac Jones, which is hard to do. The worst quarterback experience I've ever watched last week. That was abysmal.
That was horrible. Tom Brady, he should have laid into them, man. That was an opportunity for Brady to show how crazy he is about being perfect, and he kind of took it soft on Deshaun Watson. He should have ripped him a new one.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, watching the game, he's missing receivers by 10, 15 yards. Nothing's even within the vicinity of the receiver. Never seen anything like it.
I know, really bad. So I think
give me the Jaguars.
Yeah, give me the Jags. You can't take quarterback play like that.
No.
I could see Deshaun getting benched. All right, then we have Jets Titans. I think this is an easy bounce back game for the Jets. You saw that Titans offense. Will Levis looks horrible. He looks like a rookie quarterback playing. He looks
like
his
Mac
left
Jones
hand.
last year. Yeah,
it does.
Horrible.
It horrible. is. It's flashes of Mac Jones. Good rookie year, serviceable rookie year. Coming out second year, horrible. So, I think Rodgers has a bounce back. 1:00 game. He's going to put points up. 49ers, Vikings, no CMC, ruled out again. This Vikings team, they look good week 1. They didn't look horrible. They didn't look phenomenal, but they looked okay. But they're going against the 49ers, who showed last week that it doesn't matter who's playing on that field. Shanahan's going to put points up. They're going to win football games.
Give me the Vikings. I like the Vikings.
Wow.
I think Darnold might be pretty good in that offense. Kevin O'Connell, I think, is an awesome offensive head coach.
Do you know what take you just had there?
What?
You just had the Max Kellerman take. Aliens with laser beams pointed at Earth.
No,
you have one man to take the 3-point to win it. Who are you taking, Curry or Iguodala? Give me the Vikings.
Give me the Vikings. Give me the Vikings. I think
Vikings.
I think they're going to slow down a little bit. The Niners, they were just on fire again. I think Shanahan knew Saleh's defense. Vikings lock.
All right,
upset of the week.
Upset of the week. Call from Jays. Chargers, Panthers. We already talked about this in the locks. This is going to be a bloodbath. Jim Harbaugh's going to take it, shove the ball down the throat, run the ball down the throat. They're going to make Bryce Young look like a little baby. So there we go. And then we have Saints at the Cowboys in Jerry's World. Again, I touched on this earlier. I think Cowboys are rolling. I think they're rolling here.
Yep. Bucks, Lions.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Detroit Lions. Game of the week. Call from Mars, John. I think the Lions roll. I think Baker played a great game, but just kind of like in the playoffs, it's the Lions are going to be. They're too good of a team. I think they're in different tiers. I think the Bucks are a good tier. They're a playoff team, but they're not in the same tier as the Detroit Lions.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Bucks because
I think you're delusional for thinking that. I think you're delusional.
No, I'm taking the Bucks. I do want to give a quick shout out to the Detroit Lions. listening to I forget what it was, something.
Here you go. But you're glazing the Lions when you're
Nope,
taking the Bucks.
I'm taking the Bucks, but I just want to give a quick shout out to the Lions. The way they've built their team, they said they were going to do it exactly the way they've done it. We're going to be a tough, hard-nosed football team, built inside out. That's how you build a football team, by the way. That is how I just respect Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes. Just the way they built their roster. They're just probably the deepest roster in football.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, and then we have Colts Packers. No Jordan Love. He's out with that knee injury. Malik Willis gets to start. Anthony Richardson, that guy is such a roller coaster of emotions watching him play. One of the greatest plays we saw week one, and then everything else just kind of is like, what's going on here, dude?
I've never seen a quarterback throw it 800 miles an hour to like an out route. The guy, he's like trying to take the receiver's head off. But again, he's got a bazooka on his arm. That throw to Alec Pierce
Bazooka.
was
Yeah,
awesome.
great O-line, great running back, great weapons, great head coach. I think the Colts win it, but LaFleur, you never rule him out. Malik Willis, man, I don't know.
Yeah, give me the Colts by like 5 points.
Got to battle the NFC West. Rams, Cardinals. Rams are beat up. No Puka Nakua. Couple offensive linemen out. So we'll see how they respond. Arizona Cardinals, they look good, especially after we see the Bills whoop up on the Dolphins Thursday Night Football. The way the Cardinals were able to play the Bills, they look good. I'm a fan of the Cardinals. I'm high on the Cardinals this game. I have the Cardinals winning this one, and I have them winning it by a couple points. I don't know if the Rams are going to be able to keep up.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Cardinals. I think this. Yeah, I'll take the Cardinals. I'm saying that because the Rams just put three of their starting linemen on IR. Puka also on IR.
Going to the other 4 o'clock games, we have the Steelers, Broncos. I was going to choose an under on this. The under's just so low. I think it's going to be a snooze fest. I think the Steelers, their rush is going to be too much for Bo Nix to handle. TJ Watt's going to terrorize that poor little guy's day.
Oh
I have the
yeah,
Steelers winning in a close one, couple field goals maybe. Justin Fields looks horrible, but they won.
Fields
So
looks terrible. Fields is not an NFL quarterback. I think we've realized that by now. But again, completely agree with you. I think TJ Watt is going to have 4 sacks, two strip sacks. Let's go,
yeah.
Steel Curtain.
Then we got Bengals at the Chiefs. Get ready to turn this game off at halftime, people, because I'm telling you, they're going to be up 28-3 at half. I think the Chiefs are just going to steamroll the Bengals. And I'm probably going to say this about every Chiefs game this year until someone proves me wrong. They're too good this year. I think this is their Thanos 6 Infinity Stone year. They're going for the three-peat. And that's the facts of it. Burrow can't start seasons off slow, dude. You can't do it. I mean,
He had a
if you're
full
paid
training camp too.
if you're paid that much money, I get you're coming off an injury, but like he said, he's 100% healthy. You're supposed to be one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL. You're not playing like Jacoby Brissett outplayed you. He outplayed you.
I wanna stay on the Joe Burrow topic here. What has he done in his NFL career to why would you say he's a top 5 quarterback? What has he done in his NFL career? He's done absolutely nothing.
I no, well, he's done a lot more than a lot of quarterbacks have. He beat the Chiefs in the playoffs. He took a team to Super Bowl, and he was within, you know, a couple plays going right of winning it. But since then, what has he done?
Nothing.
What are you going to do for me, league? Not what have you done, league. I totally agree. He hasn't done anything. He has the argument of not staying healthy on his side, but the best ability in the NFL is availability. Staying on the field. Tom Brady was able to play for so long, only had that one season they take off, got his knee imploded. But other than that, that guy was on the field every single play, every snap. That's why the Patriot dynasty lasted so long. Burrow's an older quarterback too, played a lot of years in college. I don't know. He's got to really turn it around this year. He's never played at an MVP level, I don't think, once in his NFL career. So, but I am excited and optimistic on him for the rest of the season. I know he starts off slow, but I think this year, if you start off slow, you start off four losses in the first 8 games, you're not making the playoffs in this AFC.
I just think I think the Bengals lost their identity. Back to the Bengals. I think they lost their identity. T. Higgins not out there for is he injured? Is he upset he doesn't have a contract? Probably a mix of both.
Yeah.
Trading Joe Mixon was a little mind-boggling. You replace him with
Yeah,
Zach
wild.
Moss. They just don't have an identity right now. It's early in the year. Yeah, we might be overreacting, but they just don't have. They lost their fastball.
Yeah. Okay, then we go Sunday Night Football. The prodigal son, Caleb Williams, against last year's prodigal son, C.J. Stroud. Houston Texans are favored in this game, rightfully so. Um, but like I said, I think this Bears defense week one, they kind of proved it. They had their defense won them the game. Their offense did nothing. Let's see if the offense of the Bears can turn around and see what Caleb Williams can do. But I think the Texans are as advertised. I mean, they were a wagon. They played against a good Colts team. C.J. Stroud looks good. Those receiving core looks phenomenal, and the defense stepped up when needed.
Yeah, the defense for the Texans does have to be better. Um, I like the Texans. I just think Caleb. I think he's going to be good. I just think rookie quarterbacks have such a steep learning curve, and we saw that last week with Daniels, Nix, Caleb, all of them.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a very and that makes the decision to sit Drake May that much better. I really like how they're developing him. But again, give me the Texans. That receiving core is just lethal.
Yeah, and Sunday Night Football. I don't think Keenan Allen's going to be playing. I don't think it's a good recipe. I could end up seeing a blowout this game too, depending on how Caleb Williams responds.
Yep.
Going into primetime Monday Night Football, we have the Bird game, Falcons Eagles, Falcons Eagles in the Bird game. Kirk Cousins, I don't know, man. You think they pull him for Penix at any time this year?
I just don't think he's healthy. That's I like if you I saw a couple of videos, he just doesn't plant his foot, the one he actually ruptured last year. I just don't think he's healthy. I think by week 4 Penix might be he might be relieved. Kirk's gonna be relieved of his duties by week 4.
Yeah, we got I think of the Eagles. I think Barkley's going to have another great game. They love using him in that offense.
Awesome. He's
Uh,
awesome.
those receivers that they have, they're great. Defense is going to be good. They'll win this game pretty handily Monday Night Football. Something that you could fall asleep early to.
Yep.
All
Go
right, that
Pats.
wraps up our Week 2 preview. Patriots, Seahawks in New England, the home opener. Let's go.
Let's go.